You know, when I was in the Caribbean, a lot of you were telling me that slavery is more like a fairy tale. It never existed. And I'm here to tell you that indeed slavery existed. And this is a female slave dungeon. Has this been there, or it's something that you guys created?
Oh, this has been there. This has been there since the British built the slave castle. And they built this around 1665. So the structure currently 359 years old. So this is real. Women, African women were held in here and then taken across the Atlantic to the New World.
Can we enter?
Sure.
How many women were there?
200 women, as many as 200 African women held in this space.
With just little ventilation?
That was it.
Tiny little ventilation.
That was it. And the waste, the toilet, urine, menstruation, everything was done in here on the floor. There is no record of the women allowed to take a shower. They stayed in here 2 weeks to 3 months.
How will you describe this experience that happened in the past?
This was horrible. This was brutal. This was humans, you know, showing evil to humans. You know, it was about power, about money, greed, and all that. So what happened? In fact, all these words I'm using, if you are being honest, is an understatement. When you talk about what really was done to Africans, to human beings in these slave dungeons.
So from here, we're taking
to the colonies in the Americas, the Caribbean, the lives of Jamaica, Barbados, Bahamas, Trinidad, and all these places. The British Guyana, where they were sold to plantation owners and then enslaved.
And one thing that I will agree with what he's saying is that when I found myself in the British Guyana, I saw Ghana in Guyana, to the extent that you could find words like aben, abe, petois, atu, like these basic words that we have in here exist in there. So if you ever tell me that slavery never existed, I don't know to call you stupid, or I don't know the word to describe you. It's about time for you all to connect back to your roots. I'm just telling you guys, like, don't die without visiting Africa. Don't die without getting to hear the atrocities that were practiced in here. It's about time to reconnect. I know it's expensive to come to the motherland, but believe me or not, if you ever start saving today, that trip can come to a reality. I mean, make it a point. Add it as one of your goals that you want to achieve before you die. What are all this?
The wreath, these are brought by visitors, mostly our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, to pay homage to the ancestors, to all to remember the African women and men who were victims.
Listen, there was no lights in here.
Yeah.
I think I need to turn on the lights for you to know how dark. Because I can't even see myself, man. I can't even see myself. And imagine, over 200 women were kept here. This is the female dungeon. There's another dungeon that was for males. And from here, that is where we get to. Oh, that's another female dungeon. Sahara. Wow. And you know, the same slave dungeon where the females were kept in here is the same women that the governors, the slave masters were raping, were, you know, enjoying them whenever they want. I mean, they don't even pay for it. Were women raped in here?
Okay, so with a rape, the women were picked out of the dungeon, washed, and then forced to the quarters of these European officers. So that is where they raped the African women. After raping the women, they were brought back in here. the dungeons. But if a woman resists rape, she is not brought back to the dungeon. They had a punishment cell where they hold the woman, starve her to try and break her spirit, so that the next time she will be submissive or giving. So rape was a common thing in these slave castles and fort. The European officers and governors and traders raping the African women.
And that is why we have this whole half-cut in this part of Ghana.
The mixed race, you know, people we see in Ghana. Not all of them, but there were some who came out of, you know, kids that were raped, that came out of women who were raped by these European officers.
I mean, anytime I come here, I get sad. Anytime I come here, I kind of like develop some hate towards people that really did this. And it's sad, man. And I'm telling you, on behalf of all Africans, we are so sorry. Forgive our ancestors. They didn't know what they were doing. Please, forgive us. You don't think it's about time for them to forgive us?
The Africans were part of this, of course. I mean, we cannot reverse what happened. We can forgive, though we should never forget.
That one is very good.
So there were some Africans. This couldn't have happened without some African kings and some Africans involved. So we do take part of the blame for what happened. You know, definitely. Our brothers and sisters on the other side, we ask that they forgive, you know, our ancestors here who were part of all this.
Oh, thank you. So I'm just gonna tell you all, it's about time to visit the Cape Coast Castle. I don't call it castle, I call it dungeon, because a lot of atrocities were performed in here. But listen, I also want to tell you that I want you guys to come back, connect back to your roots. That's why we've organized a direct flight. We're reversing the Atlantic. We have a direct flight that will be coming to Ghana from Barbados, and Ghana to Barbados on the 31st of July till 9th of August. The link will be in the description. The comment, the numbers will be in the comment section. Please, let's get to know each other. Let's come together and forgive each other, and let's work together as one African race. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next one. You see, before I go, that was where the governor was staying. That big place, that was where he was staying, and that one you're seeing, it's a church, and below that church was the male dungeon.